Well, hello again, KCIW listeners, and welcome to Curry Café. I'm volunteer and producer Rick McNamer. Every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m., host Ray Gary puts together a panel of guests to discuss topics of interest in our community. And man, do we have one today, but I'll let Mr. Ray do that. Listeners can participate by texting questions or comments to 541-661-4098. Again, that's 541-661-4098. Now here's Ray to tell us about today's show.
Well, Rick mentioned a panel of guests, and while we were doing the interviews for various people to find the proper person for this show, we ran across this lady and realized that a panel was not necessary. She'll be able to deal with this all by herself. In fact, I'm going to go have a beer across the hall. You want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are?
Sure.
Anybody else want a beer while I'm going on?
Now
I'll pass for now.
that. So I'm Gayle Goldstone, and I am here today to largely represent the Small Business Development Center, which is located on the SWAT campus. I have an office there. And the SBDC, Small Business Development Center, is actually launching a small business management workshop series, and it's a 9-part series that starts in October. So 9 months, yes, and it is a focused program that caters to business owners. Now, these are business owners that may have been in business for a short period of time, and they also may have been in business for a longer period of time. We take them through a 9-month series of focused, expert-represented subjects. And those folks that participate are committed to that 9 months. It is one evening a month from 3 to 6 every second Tuesday afternoon, all deliberately engineered to be as available as possible to most business owners who are busy people. And so we have designed it tailored to their needs largely.
Wonderful. I have to ask real quick. Now, you said new. How about, are there people already signed up, or you plan on having people sign up that are just not yet or wanting to start a business?
That's a very good question, Rick. What we want people to be interested enough in is that they have a very good idea about what it is they're going to be up to.
Okay.
So that they are not only committed to the 9 months, but are also very, very interested in creating a very solid foundation for a business concept that they are already very passionate about. That's the hitcher here, because there are business owners, and we welcome experienced business owners. We've had them participate in the program so far that have been in business for as long as 11 years. There's not a prohibitive element here for people who have been in business for a long time. Maybe things have gotten a little, we can get kind of in a rut, in business because we are operating at a certain level. One of the things that I find is most important to note is that when businesses are working at kind of a pattern, sometimes they need a refresher. So sometimes this gives them that light that they need, and that's what I've been finding with people who have been part of the program already, that really lights them up again and renews their knowledge, their enthusiasm, their desire to relight the spark and get a move on.
Okay.
It's so important in business not to be what? What's the best
well,
word?
you said it, in a rut. I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
We all get in ruts, I think, no matter where we
Just because somebody has been in business for a while doesn't mean they're doing everything correctly, or sometimes anything correctly.
Thanks, Ray. Yes, you're venturing forth on that one. But I really think that for a lot of people, it just simply refreshes, and especially in the business environment these days, we can't really stand still. The truth is that there are all kinds of new things going on that we need to be aware of, develop in our businesses, and just simply look at and say, you know what? I need to do that in a different way because it's not yielding what I expected, or it's not yielding what it has in the past. So those things all start then to be revisited in this environment. And those experts that I have a lot of them lined up so far for these subject matters will be coming supplying their experience and their expertise and saying, hey, there's going to be a list of things that we're all going to go through. You can check them off. I've got it handled, or these are things I need to do. The other part of the workshop, I'm excited about the workshop, don't you? The excitement about the workshop.
You're making me excited about it. So, and I'm not even a small business person.
Is that the requirement is between workshops. Now, remember, it's only that 3 hours each month. Between the workshops, you're meeting with me on a one-on-one basis. Okay. And it's a very personal, bringing the subject matter of that particular workshop to life. So we're not just giving you that flat surface of information, albeit from experts, which are very motivating and wonderful, but also to bring it to fruition in your businesses by having an action plan that makes it happen.
Okay. And you said passion. I mean, how important is that? I'm assuming most everybody in a small business has got to have the passion for what they want to do.
There's no question.
Not just financial gain.
Absolutely. It's a requirement, I think, for a higher level of success. All right. So you may be involved in the business, but how far are you willing to go with the business? Are you willing to commit the time? Are you willing to commit the effort? And on top of it, are you willing to set action goals that then you can be energized to achieve?
Yeah.
And those are the things that really matter. We were talking before the show about resource management. Mm-hmm. And there are 3 key resources that every business should be mindful of at all times. That's money, that's talent, and that is time. And so time is not a renewable resource. So all of the things that are really important to a business are translated somehow with that mixture of resources.
Okay.
And that's key. So say that you have a goal and it's, hey, you're making the money you want, but you're not got enough free time. Well, there's a good opportunity to start investigating how to create that. Okay. Because you've created the success on the profit side, and now you're looking at, hey, there's more to life than this business. I want to spend more time with my family. How do I create that? So it's very personal in terms of working with these businesses and these owners and making sure that, because I've been a business advisor for so many years, it's very important for me to listen very carefully to the business owners and get a good idea about what is very, very important to them and create a business action plan that is tailored to what they would like to create next.
You bet. No, Gayle, why don't you go ahead and your love and passion is definitely there. That's not an issue. But just give us a little background, if you don't mind, of your business background.
Sure. I come from initially corporate America before I got my master's in business administration. But as soon as I got that, I was out on my own. I founded a corporation, and I worked for a little over 30 years for businesses, giving them that one-on-one business advising. It was very, very rewarding. As a quantitative analyst, I measure results. So however those results are measured, whether it's in time, talent, or money, that there has to be results that are an outcome of that. In addition to that period of time working on for myself, which makes me really relate to the entrepreneurial spirit, because I have it alive and well, is I also was teaching at night, and I was teaching entrepreneurs at night. It wasn't a restricted amount of teaching as much as it was the desire. There were folks who would retain a business advisor as a company. There were a whole lot of students who were just kicking the tires and getting used to the idea of owning a business. So I got my hands on them in a college environment. So either way, I was either completely actualized with helping businesses that were existing, or I was helping students take a good hard look. Do I want to do this? Is it something that I would commit to in my life? Knowing the business basics, am I going to be someone who can succeed at this, or are there certain qualifications or temperament issues that are not yet developed? And so it was great. So when I was done with, I actually retired up here 11 years ago. And so, so I was still working at the college. I developed online courses for the college. And then I said, I really miss the one-on-one. I'm still wanting to personalize and make results for people and stuff like that. So a couple of years ago, I went to the open house at SWAC. I thought, I'll kind of see if they have any courses or anything. Maybe I can get back in the classroom. And they said, the Small Business Development Center up in Coos Bay really wants a Curry representative down here at SWAC in Brookings. And 2 years later, the rest is history. I am having just a wonderful time with still teaching, developing courses now. I am just in the process of doing a time management course here at SWAC for business owners. And in addition to that, working one-on-one with business owners here. All they have to do is sign up, and they get no-cost advising through the SWAC campus.
And that's huge. Do you still there are still openings yet for people to sign up for this course?
Yes, there are a few. I have to limit it because I'm meeting with each of the participants in between the workshops.
Right.
And so as a part-timer, there's just a number of hours that I have to meet with them. We have about half filled, and the rest,
okay. And
that's why I'm here.
And what's the maximum, or what's the amount of people that can sign up? Or is there a set amount?
There is. I will not take more than 15 participants.
Oh, okay.
And that's pushing our limit.
Okay.
So, so we've got half the space still available.
Okay. And real quick, so how would if business people out there that how would they get a hold of you to ask about this?
Well, there's several ways. I was trying to think about that. How do I make this the easiest way possible for folks to connect? Honestly, the easiest way would be for them to go on into the SWAC campus and talk to our Student Success Center folks who are incredibly supportive. That would be John and Alita. And they are very helpful to me being there, connecting people with me, and giving them the information that they need to register for the course initially through the SBDC, and then ultimately to be a student at SWAC. It's kind of a dual situation because the Small Business Development Center is working in collaboration with SWAC at all times. So it's a wonderful partnership, if you will.
Yeah.
And we have the facilities there at SWAC. I can't say enough for them. Their technology is spectacular. They have beautiful facilities and classrooms, and have made that all available to me to help the cohort. So it's been amazing.
And we were talking a little bit before the show about SWAC. Again, I've been here 7 years, and my first time out there was just a few months ago. I was amazed at how it's just a beautiful little campus and a beautiful facility. It was impressive.
Yes.
So if you haven't been out, but that would be the best place right now for them to go out and go to the campus and ask about your, I can't think, the SBDC, the series.
Yes.
That's the best way.
Yes.
Okay. And it doesn't, the first one is October
14th.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
My wife and I were involved in a business for about 10 years. After I retired from my regular job and she retired from hers, we both felt like we need to do something. We both of us have, since we were teenagers, had jobs where we were making money. So at the time, I was a woodworker, and we did some research on what would be good wood products to sell at art shows, and it came up with making jewelry boxes and gift boxes. And we just jumped right into it with both feet, made horrible mistakes our first few shows. Fortunately, my wife was involved in business retail before we started that, so it was a little bit of a heads up. But we were always amazed at going to shows that would run anywhere from, I don't know, sometimes as little as 20 vendors to places like L.A. or Miami, a couple of hundred, doing all kinds of stuff, but everything was at a certain level because these were all juried shows. Juried shows mean you have to be juried to get in. But we were shocked that people, for the one thing, didn't know how to price their stuff. Very often was way undervalued, and or how to display it, or what to do in the booth. Don't just sit there reading a book. I've actually seen that
Yes.
a sign out. I may look like I'm asleep. If you see something you like, wake me up. That encourages people to want to look at the product. We met a guy one day who was a wood turner. Wood turners are people who have a passion about doing that, and everybody that does them thinks that they can sell this beautiful product they've made. So that shows there's a lot of them, and some of them are kind of subpar or better than others. And I was walking around the show one day, and I came across this one booth where the guy had true art. He was making bowls and plates and things like that, but they were absolutely beautiful. He had inlays in them, and they were just incredible. And he was new to doing the show business, and he was concerned that people didn't appreciate what he had there, and he was so thankful that I was able to say these are great. So the first day of that particular show, the first half day was for wholesale, and the store owners and whatever would come in, and he came over after about an hour of that. He said, "People are buying my stuff, but they're just buying it to make money. I don't understand. They don't appreciate it." And he was actually upset that he was selling out at the price he wanted to people who didn't appreciate what he was dealing with. So we had greatly encouraged him to raise his prices, which I think he probably did do. Anyway, that's my little story of business. I should say that we eventually retired from the business, and I still kind of have that little itch once in a while. When we first moved here, we thought, well, should we do this? Should we do that? And we decided, no, we're done with it. But every now and then I'm driving down Main Street here, and I see a store open, a store that's available for rent. And I think, we could rent that. No, I have to realize, no, I can't. I don't want to. And I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Anyway,
stick with it.
That's
No.
There you go.
Well, again,
Succeed.
they're small business, not examples, but stories. I mean, you must have heard thousands of them. And this area is so unique, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Do you see different types of businesses that I'm sure they will cover this in the Small Business Development Center. But anyway, would you steer people into certain types, antiques, gift shops, that type of thing, restaurants, or is it just open country, if you will, for here too, for different types of businesses?
Boy, that's a weighty
maybe too weighty
question. No, it's not insurmountable, but it is complicated because, we were talking about the management triangle and how important that is to address. And the elements of the Small Business Management Series workshops really kind of divide that up into like 3 quadrants. It's kind of a powerful little triangle, and it requires being balanced. And so I call it the one point of the triangle is the actual operational parts or the technical parts of owning a business, what you need to know,
okay.
The aspects of your expertise that can come to fruition, like someone who's a woodworker, right? They have talent, okay? But then the other 2 corners of that triangle, one of them has to do with sales and marketing, and they're not the same thing. And the other one has to do with finance and administration. So if a balance, and not every business has the same amount of resource requirements for each one of those points in the triangle. So the challenge for anyone who's putting a business together is to make sure that when you are focused and your energies and resources are focused, that the focus is on those points of the triangle in the appropriate focus and amount. So a business that perhaps is commanded by an artist, for example, they have a very specific amount of balance that they're going to need to achieve because they have a party or parties that they want an interest in owning their art, they're going to have a very specific outlook to that art. How do you do that? You do that with very specific marketing and a brand that you create over time that people begin to recognize and desire it, to possess it, okay?
Yeah.
So then we are looking at all of the developments that have transpired, including the internet, to create an interest that says, okay, you have been a customer of mine. I have now developed a list of customers that I have worked with. I now have a database to work with. I am now going to send this out to you because it's very likely that if you are a customer of mine and my art, you know people, your friends are very likely to love and appreciate my art as well. Who do you know? How do we connect that? And how do we create a network that expands on that level? So that's the very beginning of the idea of creating interest by a group of people that are actually going to buy your art and appreciate your art. Remember, those are two things that Ray highlighted, was not just buying it, but appreciating it.
Yeah.
It takes focus and work and a business approach to things to create that connection that can then be utilized to make more connections. And it really is all about that web, creating those people and those interested folks,
Right.
and connecting with them.
And I see one of your presentations, I kept coming up with words, but a January 13th,
Yes.
social media.
Yes,
Now, that's these days, that's huge.
it is.
And also, I got distracted momentarily, but I got it. Like I said, it's big time. It's a whole different aspect that a lot of people, probably older business owners, weren't used to, but now they probably have to engage in.
When we were in business, Facebook, we didn't even know what Facebook
Well,
was.
correct. But now that's a big deal. And by the way, if you're listening out there, you can text in. I keep
was
forgetting.
just going to do that.
Thank you. Well, I took your job there for a second. So remember, you can text in 541-661-4098. But again, you have one of the presentations is going to be all about that
Yes.
on social media. And how important is that?
It's incredibly important, but it's all part of a whole package.
Right. And I was going to say, along with that, people probably can do, you don't have to have a storefront. You can also do business out of your home. I'm assuming that's part
Absolutely.
of this whole thing, too.
Absolutely.
Depending on the business, of course.
That's right. And the whole idea behind this is to find some time with a business advisor who can help you ascertain what areas need development so that you can best go after what it is that you want. Remember, there's not just about money. It's also about your free time. And it's also about other things that people, they have lots of different desires. And what my job is really is to listen and to find out what those are so we can make them happen. One of the things I wanted to do is kind of highlight, or you can, if you would like, the workshops and the subjects that are coming up.
Yes, exactly. Feel free. I have them all written down, but I figured you would be better to introduce them and talk a little bit about each one if you'd like.
Well, sure, absolutely. I mean, the first thing is about marketing. Marketing is kind of the beginning of how to conceptualize your approach to things. How a strategy is a plan, of course. And so if you have a marketing strategy and you have adequately identified your customers and what they want, it's the first part of saying, this is who I'm going to target. It is a mistake in business to target everybody. It's not effective because we have certain limited resources. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
So that to try and focus on a full spectrum of all your target won't work effectively. You don't have, let me say, we are very unlikely to have unlimited resources to blanket an area when the outcome will be limited on either ends of that spectrum. So we focus on a preliminary or primary target market. Okay, so that's
and looking at your list here, I would have thought one of the first things, but I guess this is in the direction you go in, is actually getting the money to start the business. Do you go out and get loans, cash in your life insurance, talk to your uncle you haven't talked to forever? Do you go into that at all, raising the money, and how much more money you're going to need than you think you're going to need?
We absolutely do, but
May 12th, I believe, you have one down here for
Yes, sir.
Meet the Lenders.
That's right.
My own little homework there, but as a
Very
non-business
good.
owner.
Because
But
this is-
no, this is important.
This is a complete and whole picture.
Yes.
And that's the whole idea behind the workshops,
Yeah.
is that they take you down a process of deciding which parts of this are more relevant, how much you're going to have to dedicate to it. But it is a full picture approach to things. If you were to raise the capital and you didn't have a plan of how you were going to raise the money, how you were going to spend the money, how the return on investment was going to yield once you did invest the money, and then how would you have help if you needed help, because you wouldn't have known how much to pay them and what talents you needed in order to expand the business or start it in the first place, the money wouldn't matter. It might sound a little ludicrous, but honestly, until you have a full plan that incorporates all of these elements, you wouldn't know where to put it. So it's extremely important. And it might not even be that money's the secret at all. It may be that you need to have some talented individuals to bring on board, because there are certain talents that you have that are unquestionable. But my experience, 30 plus years working with entrepreneurs, not everyone wants to keep their books, okay? Not everybody wants to deal with finance. And it's an area that is woefully inadequately addressed through most of our education. We have a lot of talent. We have a lot of things we can do. But one of them that diminishes in being desirable is most folks are not crazy about the money part. And having worked with students, now 39 years I've been working with students on a part-time basis, teaching them about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
They're not crazy about that environment. And so I literally have developed some business courses having to do with financial basics that are specific for entrepreneurs so that they understand it. They know how to work with their financial statements. They know what their financials tell them so they can act on them, but they don't necessarily have to sit there. And you know what? People who are accounting people, they are awesome. They like that. So why would you, as an entrepreneur who's loving to create custom woodworking, beautiful art pieces, sit down at a desk and attempt to do those books? Not only would you take too long to do it, but also it would be the last priority instead of being a priority that needs to be addressed in order to assess the health of the business. So it is all about a balance that business owners achieve. And that's what I'm here for, is to help them achieve that. You know, if it means they don't do that work themselves, I do a little thing in class that is really kind of fun. I say to a student, well, how much do you think you're going to make in this business on a per hour basis? $85 an hour. I said, okay. If you can spend less than that, having someone maintain your financial picture, wouldn't you do that every day? Yes, because they're doing what it is that they love, which is on top of it all. And what's our time worth? So if someone else is doing that because they love doing it, and you're doing the thing that you absolutely love, and there's actually profit to be made in that transition from having someone else do that, then you've all won. And that's really one of the philosophies I think that I employ a great deal, is making sure that everyone is got a smile on their face. So if we can do that, and we can be in business and we can be grinning from ear to ear because we have taken advantage of all of the things that we can, and we're achieving our ultimate results, that's really what a quantitative analyst does, is get the optimum result out of everyone's efforts. And that's what I'm doing now. That's my mission as a business advisor, is to make sure that everyone who comes in and works with me or is part of the workshop series really understands that's what we're after, is to get the ultimate result
Right.
of it.
So I noticed your first week you talk about marketing strategy. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
I thought you were looking at me like
Oh,
I was
no,
doing
no,
something
no.
wrong. And anyway, so at this point, your students are telling you what type of business they want to go into. Is that so? What do you do with the student who wants to sell Learjets in Brookings? A totally inappropriate business to have here, or maybe anywhere for that matter.
Tell them to go somewhere else, I guess. But
Tell
no, I
them to
get the gist.
start with Super Cubs and work your way up.
Yeah, no, I get it. In other words, tailor it to the area you're in.
Every now and then we see a new business open up and everybody goes, another one? We didn't need another one.
Well, a lot of that has to do with, first of all, I am not one who jumps on the let's discourage them at the onset, okay? Because in listening carefully, frequently what I find, now this is true of people I've been working with in Brookings strictly for 2 years. There is so much hidden talent here.
That's great.
It's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And I find out someone's background and I'm like, where did that come from? How are you using that in the business that you have right now? And I find out sometimes they're not, but they should be. Mm-hmm. Because there's something there that creates another facet of the business that hasn't even been explored. It's really quite astonishing to me, and I have to say that it's happened so many times.
Another door opens for them.
Yes.
To make their business better.
Exactly right.
That's huge.
Yes, and I wanted to mention something about, because of the question that you had, Ray, about the market and all of that. Let me explain something. I am the Curry County Business Advisor here at SWAC, right? What's important to know is that the SBDC has a group of people that specialize. I really am kind of the numbers person, okay, and specialize in a lot of the finance. I've taught business law, so I have some of that going on. But we do have arms of the SBDC, teams of people that are comprised of folks like me who specialize in specific areas that I can call on as a business advisor. They don't work for the public. They work for the business advisors that work in the state of Oregon. So there are 18 SBDC centers in the state of Oregon. So we have staffing all over the state. SBDC has what's called an MRI team, Market Research Institute, and it's tied to one of the universities here in Oregon. I have used their expertise 4 times for clients when I felt like the client needed more goodies about the market. I request that they do research for my client, and they go out there and they do some amazing work and give me back that information to share with my client and say, have you thought about this area? Have you thought about that area? This MRI shows this whole other world, and it's all Oregon information. And it changes their approach to things because there's more that they can expand into because the research has been done for them. There's another part of the team. It's called the CAT team, Capital Access Team. These are folks that go out there and find money for businesses. They work for me as a business advisor, and they go out there. I have been able to place some microloans with non-institutions for clients because they needed to get some capital but could not qualify in traditional means, and they got their money.
Well.
And so the last one is the GTC. We have 3 of them. They're so awesome.
All the acronyms, but we'll get them.
Yep.
No,
this
that's
is the
good.
Global Trade Commission.
Okay.
Right? There's a group that's doing nothing but specializing in global trade. I need to point out to everybody that if you're selling on the internet, you are engaging in somewhat of a global trade environment. So all of this expertise, it's not just about me, guys. I mean, I have some background, but there's so much more that can be drawn upon that's part of this system.
Yeah.
And it's really important people know that because they don't. And it's like I'll be working with somebody and I'll say, it's really time for us to get an MRI done at Market Research Institute. It's time to spin them up. And they'll go, cool. And the reports that we get, like I said, are amazing.
Yeah.
We have resources to draw from. What's really important to know is that part of this workshop series, I get to know the business people that are involved in the workshop series so we can really ramp things up. And that's why this is so important for people to engage in.
Yeah.
Is because we can get, I want to say, hit the ground running for sure in terms of as they get through this 9 months, we're going to have a pretty darn good idea about what it is that they're going to need to optimize their business approach to things. And so that's why, and this is extremely popular, by the way, the SBDCs are doing small business management workshop series all over the state.
Yeah.
And so it's really important for them to know that this is not something just unique to Curry, but is something that has been extremely popular to business owners throughout the state.
Is it unique to Oregon? Or are there, I'm assuming other states have their own kind of versions.
They do, but man, they're all different.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And we're in Oregon. Well, I'm across the border, but I won't go that too far. But yeah, it's and again, I have to just go back to SWAC. What a wonderful place that is.
It's amazing.
And you touched on the legal type law and all of that's probably something they have to consider.
Yep.
I just wonder how big a part that is. And I didn't peruse this list enough. Is there a particular one about law and legal, or is that just going to be?
It's very individualized.
Okay.
So when I'm working one-on-one with the folks that are participating in this workshop, we're going to talk about all the different entities that exist, which one is going to work best for them.
Okay.
It's also been very prominent here. People need to know that even the kind of entity that they choose from a legal standpoint is not necessarily what rules the roost from a tax standpoint. So tax treatments are also unique in nature.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have a section on taxes coming up in December before the end of the year, coincidentally.
Okay.
No, not. So that they can get some really good advice and some really good ideas for what has transpired even during 2025 to help them get a leg up when they transition into 2026.
Right. And again, taxes, that would come into the legal and the law portion too.
Surely.
I assume.
Mm-hmm.
We eventually hired a CPA, and the reason we hired him is my wife and I went to a little one-day seminar on small businesses, and the CPA came up and he gave a little talk, and he said not long after he graduated and started his business, he went on a trip to China, and at that time you could only go on a guided tour. And there was a woman on the trip who was taking sketches of everything. And months later, she called him on the phone saying that she's being audited. She wanted to deduct the trip to China because she was getting all these ideas for things to paint, and in fact had done some and sold some. And when I heard I can deduct the trip to China, I immediately said to my wife, "Let's get his card." And he was unbearably expensive, but he did save us a lot of money. And I'm hoping some of the stuff that he said was deductible really was deductible. I don't think I can be audited anymore for that, right? I might do it for 10 years.
They might be listening, so.
Oh, God, I do have to worry.
Again, I want to remind folks to please. You can text in questions or comments, 541-661-4098. And Gayle, there's so many pluses for local businesses. I was doing that little bit of research. Job creation within the community, tax revenue in the taxes again. But, tax revenue stimulates motivation, builds social connections between, and that happens here. We've talked, I go to many of the local businesses around here and have developed relationships from them and seen how important that is to have these small businesses succeed and, be part of our community. It's a big deal.
Thank you so much, Rick, for mentioning that, because what it did is triggered another something, and that is...
I'm shocked.
It triggered what happens during the workshops.
Wonderful.
It's so great. There's business owners that are in the room together. they're getting the experts and all the information from the experts. Everyone gets a binder, and the binder is full of all the information coming from the experts. They present the information, and then they give it to the participants. It doesn't end there, because the businesses that are in the cohort share things that are going on with them, with each other. You know, we take breaks. I always have snacks, by the way. And
I could show
very
up
important,
for that.
very important for that. Keep them going. It's 3 to 6 in the afternoon. And what's important is someone in the room during break will open their laptop and they'll say, I'm having an issue with Google. This is my AdWord thing, and it's not working properly. Someone else in the room will say, I know exactly what the problem is. Let me show you. They'll come over and start tap, tap, tap on their laptop, and the problems are solved. And it's like, it's not just me. It's not just the experts. It's everyone working together to create this collective. And my plan, is that we will continue to do this and continue to incorporate all the participants that have been in these workshops to do extra courses. I just did a negotiation skills short course for a small group. I'm doing the time management for 2 weeks. Right now, we're in the middle of that.
Great.
So there's always special subjects after this to keep things expanding. I take surveys of the cohort and say, what do you want next? What intrigues you? What can we make a course of next? I developed 18 courses during the time that I was working at the college. I'm very anxious to share all that, because that's what it's all about for me now.
Yeah.
So the development of everyone's understanding and expertise, once you get this core element in the workshops, what's next? We should never stop.
And this is your 3rd year, is that correct?
Correct.
You were saying?
Yeah.
And obviously you plan on just year after year, keep this thing going.
You bet.
And I love that story about not only you have the presentation, the experts, but then in between eating the snacks and drinking the champagne or whatever you do, you have I'm guessing the older owners or the more experienced business owners telling the younger ones, oh, well, this might help you while you're just having a BS session, if I can say that. But I just said the
You sure can.
initials. Yeah, I mean, that's great. I think that's a big part of that.
It is. It's a huge part of that.
Yeah.
And the affiliations they make, and they're actually, I hear about them. Like they're all still connecting with each other. They're doing business with each other. They're going for a walk on the beach together. Whatever it is, they've made some lifetime friends actually connecting on a business level, and it's become social and all that as well.
Yeah.
So it is a collective, and it's extremely important that people understand when they're in this that it is a commitment. I'll grant you, but it's well worth every bit of it.
And this is a unique community. I've lived in a lot of hopefully this will be my last, I believe. I love it up here. It's one of the best areas I've ever been. And I bet you see that a lot, maybe more up here than maybe elsewhere if it was a larger city or something, is the business owners getting together, meeting each other, hobnobbing, whatever. And that's just a big part of it, I think.
Oh, it is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I wondered if I might be able to highlight something that I just got done doing.
Oh, please.
September 1st through 6th, I was in Orlando, Florida, for the SBDC's annual conference.
Okay.
And boy, was that ever an eye-opener. It was called The Future of Work. And it was, not only did I get certified in AI while I was there.
Big
yeah,
one.
I know,
Okay, go ahead.
Time.
Hello. Okay.
I attended 20 different courses while I was there and got a chance to see a lot of how this information and this technology can be applied as a business advisor.
AI, we're talking.
Yes.
Okay.
And, I just sent a missive out to everyone that I've been working with. At last count, about 41 businesses I have been working with here. And let them know, hey, look, I understand it a whole lot better. And I know what it is able to do in terms of assisting. And I also know very clear in that conference, what it is not able to do,
Okay.
which is just as powerful.
Okay.
And so I now have, of course, I came back, I can't wait to go with this now, because I have to keep learning too.
About AI, I'm going to go back.
About everything. I mean,
everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I can't give it out fast enough, but I also have to keep it coming in to keep my enthusiasm, my motivation, my knowledge current.
I do not
'Cause it's-
sense a lack of enthusiasm, by the way.
It's so important to
That's
everybody.
great. No, it is good, Gayle. Really is. So expound a little bit, if you will, the AI. We've talked about it here. I have kind of a love-hate relationship with it. It's weird sometimes, and then I'm also amazed at what I see it can do. So these days, AI is a big part of small business then. It's got to be.
Any business, yes.
AI.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
One of the things that was very clear to me during the whole process of seeing what it can and can't do was think of AI as being two-dimensional, right? Will it cut down time if you're analyzing something? Will it cut down time if you tell them, look, I want all of this that I'm committing to put into a schedule for me and load it onto my calendar so I know what's up, right?
Yeah.
That's all two-dimensional. What it can't do is replicate or represent us. If you're negotiating anything, if you're selling something, if there's so many things that people will make mistakes as they figure it out, to understand the human factor is absolutely not part of AI, right?
Right.
And so we're all looking at it going, this person's AI generated, this, that, and the other. That's not for businesses to really deal with. What is say that you have a whole list of tasks that you need to do. You are a sole proprietor, no one else to fall back on. And you have all these people you've contacted. And you really want to contact them and let them know what it is that you're doing because you want to include them.
Yeah.
You can spend the all-nighter typing those things out and all that stuff, or you can create a methodology where you can connect with them, give them a way to connect with you personally. This is what's happening right now, is the human part is being short-circuited a lot by AI, by convenience, without considering that shortcut is going to be off-putting.
Yeah.
So I spent days, right, seeing, what it's useful for and what it's absolutely inappropriate to use it for.
Okay.
And especially here, we have to retain our humanity here. This is super important.
We frequently send these shows to some type of an AI program to either review them or the last one was fact check. And I don't know how long it takes to actually do it, but we get it like the next day. And I'm sure it's quicker than that. And it's amazing how we can improve the program or change the program or do whatever. You would not believe the first one of these that was done. We did a show. I don't remember what it was about, and our engineer sent everybody a copy of this, and it was two people talking, a man and a woman talking about the show, talking about the personalities in the show, the specific questions that were asked and discussed, and like 2/3 of the way through, I said, "Boy, we're famous. We got this. This is Google doing this," and then I realized, no, it isn't anything. This is a boy computer and a girl computer, and actually getting the essence of the program, the feel of it. It's not just, and then he said, it
was amazing. We were all kind of blown away by how accurate it sounded and how real the people sounded. So again, pluses and minuses like everything else. But in the 3 years that you've been doing this, have you seen an increase in the AI discussion in small business?
Significantly so.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, they're developing courses now to teach the students from an entrepreneurial standpoint how to use AI. Oof. But here's the thing. They can't substitute what you guys are doing. Mm-hmm. They couldn't substitute the dialogue that you had. They might have automated the dialogue as a result.
Correct.
But not as a substitute.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet, but it could do something like saying, and then one of the participants asked a highly inappropriate question or did something. I guess it could do that. I don't see why it couldn't, but
It would be on you probably if it happened.
I was just thinking that. Yeah,
Just teasing Ray,
Yeah.
always. No, yeah, but that is a
didn't
big
put
part.
my whole job on jeopardy.
And I have to admit it, AI has helped on my little back duties that I do here at the station. It has increased my downtime at times for little things that AI has done for me. Let me say, I don't do it. Another person does because I can't get in, understand all that stuff. But yeah, so there's definitely a plus to that these days.
Well, I believe that there's an application for it that is essential for businesses to
Probably to these days.
investigate. Maybe you decide, heck no, I don't want anything to do with it. That's fine. Investigate.
Yeah.
Be open to it, because everything in business, the more successful business owners I see are just open-minded. It doesn't mean they have to commit to a darn thing, but open your mind enough to recognize there might be potential for a tool to help you move along.
Okay.
And there is no question that everything else is moving along.
Yeah. And also, I believe there is a cost, but the cost is minimal for this 9-month long education, correct?
Yep.
And that is,
It's $300. It's upfront, and it's for the entire series.
okay, that's,
And all my time as well.
well, again, that's a pretty good deal.
I
just
have
wanted
something to share about that.
Please do.
In another part of the state, this is over $600 that they're charging.
Okay.
Up north, it's $1,200 that they're charging. Okay.
Wow.
So when I started this 2 years ago, I said, I know our county. This is the price I want. We have held this price for all 3 workshops. There was some pressure. I'll be open about that and say there was a little pressure. Should we increase it?
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely not. Because we have a target market here that I feel every program that anyone ever does or any product that's ever sold, you better darn assess who your target market is. And are you going to get them to participate, which is what your real goal is, or are you going to put them off by creating a pressure sensor that isn't 300 enough? I think it is. And so in spite of the fact that they're getting a lot of value, it's a pressure point that I'm wanting to stand behind.
Good.
$300 is nothing for the amount of information they're getting here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would concur, for sure.
But I want to incentivize everyone and understand.
Right. Right.
This
Well,
basically pays for the book, or the binder, and all the contents in it and the snacks.
Oh, and they get materials on top of it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
yeah. No, that's huge. Yeah, I definitely want to throw that in. I forgot the number, but I knew it was there.
Makes me want to go look at one of those storefronts again. And
Well, there you go. I
maybe I could do it.
opened my own small business. The age, just curious, all these entrepreneurs that you have,
Yes.
age range, I'm assuming it's all over the place, but is there a general, just asking for that? It doesn't really matter, I
Early
guess. but-
20s to 70s.
well, there you go. Okay. But the bulk of them maybe being younger trying to start out or older keeping their business. But there's probably even older people starting a brand new business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, think about the pressure that retirees have and the fact that they might want to have extra income for family travel, the
Yes.
grandkids, a retirement addition, maybe they want to fund a 529 for their grandchildren for their education in the
thinking.
future. There's so many things, of course, that we can always spend money on, but if it's something that they would get joy out of and it has a profit part to it
You bet.
that makes sense, I would like to see a lot more going on with folks who just, I want to supplement. There are things that we should make available to more of the folks who live in our county and stop sending them outside our county to spend that money.
Again, back to the local community.
That's a big mission I'm on, too, is to create more of economic stimulus here in the area. A way to do that is for the cohort to get bigger and bigger.
Okay.
You know, I've shared with you that an entrepreneurship center is what I have in my glint in my eye, if you will, to create, because we have a lot of people here in the county we can probably draw from for their experience and expertise as guest speakers, maybe once every 6 months or something like that, because we have a lot of very smart, very accomplished people in this county that perhaps could share their expertise.
Yeah.
We're starting to run a little low on time here. Could you, I don't know if you've even mentioned how we get a hold of you or how a person who wants to open up a business gets a hold of you.
Wouldn't hurt to do it again, so we'll do that, Gayle. You bet. Give all the info you can about how to people to get in touch.
Okay. I would suggest, and I'm not in my office every day, or I would say my phone number at the office, but the Student Success Center at SWAC is 541-813-1667. And they are awesome, and they will connect you up with me right away.
Okay.
541 813?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to our number.
I'm
so used to
teaching a class now.
And again, you can always take that short drive. It's a beautiful place.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's fun to be there and just walk in there.
And if you have a friend, maybe you're not interested in starting a business, but you know somebody that is, and you want to kind of get them on the right start, this program will repeat.
Oh, you bet.
Do you have a time and date? Actually, you can listen to it right now online, right?
Well, it won't be long. You can pull kciw.org and then pull up past shows and look down to Curry Café, and they can do that. Yeah, re-listen to the show.
And by the way, I support the radio station by membership, and I really encourage everybody to do that, too.
And we thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah, and we are getting down to the nitty-gritty here, and just remind people, listen to KCIW 100.7 LP here in beautiful Brookings, Oregon. And
I'm going to do a quick merch promo here. We recently ordered a limited edition, absolutely incredibly gorgeous T-shirt that we will be distributing, for now at least, here in the office. So I'm sure if you come in, you'll buy at least 2 or 3, but come on in.
And we will donate some to
many of them will be done. I had to go yesterday and increase the order just to cover the ones I'm going to give away for free.
Right on. Okay.
Can I throw in one more thing?
Oh, please.
Even though the cohort knows who's part of the workshops, anyone who comes in and seeks my advice or my expertise in a one-on-one basis, all of that is strictly confidential, and it's important for people to know that.
That's huge.
Don't be shy.
Okay.
So if we're going to be distributing Coke, we can still come in and talk to you about it.
That's Coca-Cola we're talking, I hope. Right, see, we're still looking for a rim shot for Ray's comments. We'll get that sound effect soon. Again, Gayle, it was great, all wonderful information about small business and what they can do to improve themselves. And this sounds like a pretty good deal coming up at SWAC. And the first one again was October
14th.
14th, how to reach customers. There are plenty of customers here in beautiful Brookings, Oregon. Thanks again, Gayle. Mr. Ray, always a pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and thank you, Gayle.
Okay, KCIW LP 100.7 here in beautiful Brookings, Oregon.